Is drinking raw milk safe like RFK Jr. suggests? Can you reduce a glucose spike if you eat your food in, quote-unquote, the right order? I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp. I host a nutrition myth-busting podcast called Bite Back with Abby Sharp. And those are just some of the questions I tackle with qualified experts on my show. There is so much food misinformation and disinformation out there, and it can feel impossible to know what's real and what's BS. On Bite Back, my goal is to help listeners create a pleasurable relationship with food, their body, and themselves, which in my opinion is the fundamental secret to good health. Listen to Bite Back wherever you get your podcasts.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip. When it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Arr, fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
From the Kiss 92.5 studios in Toronto, Canada.
Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen.
This is Roz and Mocha.
It's Roz and Mocha. What's going on?
Hey guys, this is Bruno Mars.
This is Selena Gomez.
The Chainsmokers.
Lady Gaga.
Calvin Harris.
Alessia Cara.
This is Ed Sheeran.
You're listening to my boys Roz and Mocha.
Roz and Mocha.
My boys Roz and Mocha.
The Roz and Mocha Show.
Between Roz and Mocha, who is your favorite?
Roz. Mocha. Roz. Mocha. You guys are so funny, man.
Congratulations, Lisa! Wow!
You just won $1,000.
That's amazing. Y'all just made my entire morning. Keep it up.
You guys are awesome, man.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast. Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life.
What advice can you guys give me?
Okay, so my question is...
Got a problem you can't fix?
Roz and Mocha got you.
Yo, Natasha, what's good? It's Roz and Mocha.
Hello, how are you?
Good. What's going on with you? Why are you reaching out? Tell everyone why you're on FML.
Yes, okay. So how do I move on after my best friend chooses someone who betrayed me?
Oh, geez, that's a hard question to answer. Hey, you wrote us this. Hey, Roz and Mocha. This is about losing my best friend of 10 years. Over time, I realized I wasn't a priority to her. Things got worse when she reconnected with someone who had spread lies about me, someone she once vented to me about after all the fallout at work. I supported her through a really difficult time, including an unsuccessful pregnancy, but now she's suddenly close with that same person again. When I brought it up, she basically said that if I wanted to stay friends, I had to accept it. That was the final straw. We've since blocked each other, and while I'm glad to be done with the friendship, I'm struggling with the hurt. How do I move on?
So What was the dynamic between you and this person that was talking smack and spreading lies?
To be honest, I've met this person only for 2 hours. And she actually invited herself to my birthday dinner for my 30th birthday party. Okay. And I tried to tell my friend, I don't really want her to come. This is kind of a private event, a very close kind of event with all my close friends. So I don't really want her there. But she did come. Wasn't necessarily the happiest about that. But then instead of leaving at dinner, she ended up coming back to my apartment. And that's where the rumors started going off. She started making rumors about my apartment, which was not true.
How do you make a rumor about somebody's apartment?
Making fun.
So they were saying, or she was saying that my apartment smells really, really bad, which is the complete opposite. Yeah. And she was saying that my floor was completely covered with trash to the point where she wasn't able to see where she was walking on the floor. Okay. And I was like, okay, that's also not very true.
So is that girl like a friend of this girl that you had a friendship with?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And
so
they only met through work, so they're not super close. They met last year,
but they got close.
Yes, and they got close through work, and then something happened through work. She ended up getting let go, and then my friend would always vent to me. This time last year, we would be talking a lot of crap about her.
So is your ex-friend then, like, is her personality in line with this other girl?
To be honest, no. I've known my friend for 10 years, and I know that this is something that I don't think she would ever want in her life. And I think that there is maybe stuff definitely going on. Could be because of the unsuccessful pregnancy. That's not me to say, though. But I know that there's some stuff that's going on with my ex-friend, and I think that she's just reaching out to other people. But I don't understand why, because I've been her friend for 10 years, and I know the ins and outs of her. I know all the secrets. I know everything. So she's reaching out to someone who she doesn't really have that close friendship with.
Some friendships aren't forever, right? And I think that a lot of people have a very hard time dealing with that when you drift apart or you're no longer, besties with somebody that you shared everything with. But sometimes people come into your life, could be a year, could be 10 years. They shake it up. They make you better. Sometimes they don't. And then they move on. And you kind of, take the memory and the lessons that you had from that friendship and you move on to, apply them to other areas in your life. You learn from the mistakes, or you take the good parts of that and you try and make, better relationships. But it doesn't sound like you're wanting to rekindle the friendship. It just sounds like, how are you, you're still in the process of struggling to move on from a failed friendship, right?
Yeah, I'm no longer interested in being her friend.
Okay.
One thing that was kind of the last straw for me was I am starting really into my faith and my religion, and going to church and everything like that. And I'm posting a lot on social media in regards to that. And she, during our argument, while we were talking about this and trying to salvage the friendship, she went out on TikTok and posted a story and a complete dig at my religion. And it was the last straw for me. It was like, okay, that was not okay.
Is your religion a conventional religion or like a wild religion?
No. I believe in God, and I'm a Catholic. So I go to church and I do all of that kind of reading the Bible. I pray, all that kind of stuff.
But she's not. So she's not into that, though.
No, she's not. And I'm totally okay with that. But for her to make a post and then to dig at me, knowing that I'm super religious at this point.
Okay.
I don't know. Natasha, I think with this friendship, you're over it. I think you have to treat this as if almost like a breakup, right? You're going to go through the different stages. You're going to be angry. You're going to be upset. You're going to be sad. You're going to be depressed. Just treat it like a breakup. All these feelings that you're going through right now, totally normal, but you're going to come through on the other side, better for it, right? And maybe you'll realize that this friend wasn't the best person for your life.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I think this chapter of my life is over, and it does hurt. It stings. I definitely miss her, and I care a lot about her. I don't wish her any ill will, but it is kind of over for me. And like you said, just kind of treat it like a normal breakup, right? Hurt, upset, but you take the lessons that you've learned and you apply it to other parts of your life.
Yeah, and we'll tell you the same thing that we tell people who have just broken up with a significant other, and that is in situations like this, if you go looking for closure, you're not going to find it.
Yeah. It may even lead to more heartbreak, or you guys may end up arguing even more.
Yeah, it just takes time.
Yeah.
It just takes time.
Yeah, exactly. And I tried to talk to her about it, and I realized that it was not going anywhere. So the conversation ended, and that was the end of the friendship.
Yeah, it takes time. You just need some time.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay. Well, thank you for the advice. I really appreciate it.
And I think maybe you just needed to have this conversation to validate your feelings.
Yes. And it's hard when, you live by yourself. You don't get to really talk about this out loud to anybody, right? So I think it was just a venting session too, which was nice.
Which is fine. Which is fine. 100%. We got those two on the show.
That's right.
Could have been either or.
Well, exactly. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Gotcha.
I really do.
Have a good day.
You too.
Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life
on Kiss.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Nicole Byer, helping you make those rooms flyer. Today's style tip: when it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild! Like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Ooh, fierce! This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Looking to buy your dream home or rent that perfect apartment? With the Redfin app, you'll know the moment your next place hits the market. Set up your gotta have it wish list, and Redfin will send you real-time notifications for properties that match. And when you're ready to see it in person, scheduling a tour is just a tap away. Thinking about selling? Redfin can do that too. In fact, Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so they know how to get the best price for your home. And with a listing fee as low as 1%, Redfin charges half of what others often charge. So you could save big, like really big. Last year, Redfin saved home sellers $118 million. So whether you're buying, renting, or selling, Redfin's ready to help you win. Download the Redfin app and start searching today.
Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life.
What advice can you guys give me?
Okay, so my question is...
Got a problem you can't fix?
Roz and Mocha got you.
Hey, yo, Katrina. It's Roz and Mocha. What's up?
Hi, I'm just wondering why the neighbor is always popping by when it's just my husband outside.
Wow, Katrina coming in hot. Katrina, you wrote us this. Hey, Roz and Mocha, Fix My Life. My neighbor, who is a woman, always comes to my house when my husband is outside with my kids. She'll walk in my garage, into my backyard. She talks to my kids. She seems to only do this when my husband is around. He's antisocial and he hates talking to people. We don't want to be rude, but he's getting annoyed.
Wow. Roz, you face this same problem, don't you?
Dale, oh my God, it's such a
How do you
burden.
deal with it? Yo, Katrina, is your husband hot?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. And what about the neighbor?
Yeah, she's very pretty, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And your husband, whenever he comes in, he's always like, "Oh God, she was there again," right?
Yeah, like he wants to sell the house.
Yeah. He's he's saying that for your benefit, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. He's saying that for your benefit. You think he wants that kind of heat? He wants the kind of heat of where, he comes in and he's like, "Oh, you're talking to her again?" No, he comes in and he's like, "Oh God, that woman's the worst." Because he doesn't want the heat. He doesn't want that heat on him.
He probably doesn't even care.
He doesn't care.
So when this woman comes over, like randomly, what is she coming over to talk about? Just like anything?
Yeah, she just comes by. She brings her son and she tries to get her son to play with my kids. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. Like, I think she just wants, there's not a lot of kids in my neighborhood, so she probably just wants her son, to have some friends. But it's just like the boundaries that she pushes, because she'll just, if my husband's in the backyard, she'll just kind of walk into the backyard and she's talking to my kids. And my husband tries his best to avoid her. And there was one time she was there for maybe like 35 minutes, and he said he was in one side of the yard, didn't talk to her at all, and she was just with my kids.
Does she have a husband?
She does, yeah. And he'll be across the street. Yeah, and he'll be across the street watching the whole thing go down.
And does he ever come over, like when she comes over?
No, never.
So is there a chance that maybe she's just really, really friendly, but she thinks that you hate her, and that's why she doesn't interact with you that same way?
I don't know, because, excuse me, the times that I've seen her, like, I've been really friendly to her. My husband spends a lot of time outside because that's his realm. Like, he has a garden. He does all those things. And then when the kids are out of the house, that's when I have my time to, clean up and do all the things. But it's just...
So what are you worried about then? Are you worried that she's just an invasive neighbor? Are you worried that she's flirting with your husband? Are you what's the worry here?
Not too worried about the flirting with my husband. More that, we don't know how to just tell her that, don't walk into our garage. Like, my husband does taxidermy, so he'll purposely hide the garage as he's cleaning pelts, and she'll just pop her head and what's going on? And he's just so uncomfortable with it, and we don't know. We don't want to be mean. She seems very nice. I just don't know if she doesn't understand that social boundary.
Okay, so if she's the type of neighbor who thinks that she's just being neighborly, pop in and see the neighbor outside. Hey, let's just go, shoot the for a little bit, right? If she thinks she's just being neighborly, there is no way to say what you want to say without it sounding mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't want to be mean.
Well, especially if you don't think that she's got the hots for your husband and she's trying to hit on him. Like, maybe she's coming over because she is lonely, or like you said, there aren't a lot of kids on the street and she just wants to come over with her kid so that her kid could play with your kids.
Yeah, and it's just weird because then she'll talk to my kids.
Yeah.
Because
it might be weird to just bring her kid over and dump the kid off with you guys, right? So maybe that's why she hangs out.
This stuff, the reason why I'm having a difficult time with this, okay, how old are you, Katrina?
I'm 32.
Okay, so when I was a kid, everything you're saying right now was so unbelievably normal. If a new family moved in across the street, my mom would be like, go play with that kid. Right? And then I'd be like, okay. And I'd walk over and I'd ring the bell and I'd be like, the mom would come to the door. And I remember being like, hey, you have a kid? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, does he want to play? Right? And then we would just go play. Like this kind of stuff where people popped over. And if a neighbor talked to me or my mom talked to a neighbor's kid, none of that was unusual behavior. right? Like it wasn't unusual for the neighbor across the road to come over and talk to me about something, right? Like it just wasn't weird. And I think we've made it weird.
Maybe the next time, Katrina, that this neighbor comes over to talk to your husband, and if you're at home, why don't you pop outside and like strike up a conversation or join the conversation?
Yeah, and there was one time too, like I came home with a bunch of groceries, and I just feel like she doesn't read the room because like I have all these groceries, and she walks across the street to my yard, and she's, talking to my kids, she's making small talk with me, and my daughter, who was 3 at the time, said, "Do you want to come in our house?" And she's like, "Sure." And then she walks into my house.
While you're unloading the groceries?
And I'm like, it's Saturday morning, I didn't clean yet. Like my bra was hanging on a chair, my kids' clothes are on the floor, and she just kind of waltzed in. And
I don't know, maybe she's lonely.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's lonely.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. I think she does have like good intentions. I just feel like sometimes I'm not ready to have company, and she kind of just does her thing.
Yeah.
And maybe she grew up that way where people would like be more than welcome just to walk into the house whenever, or walk into the backyard whenever, or just come over and strike up a conversation.
I also think that there's a very important skill you can learn within conversations, and that is how to end a conversation. Because if this is going to be an ongoing thing, it can be an ongoing thing, but you have to know how to end conversations. Right. And so they don't keep going and going and going until you both run out of things to say, and then it's awkward and one person leaves. Right. So you have to develop the skill of how and when to end a conversation, whether that is a point where, somebody says something that's a natural end of the conversation, and you're like, OK, we got to wrap this up. And you don't have to lie. You can just say, got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
And then, hey, see you tomorrow kind of thing, right? And then just turn around and walk away. It's a natural end to a conversation. And then that way she is expecting it. She's not expecting these long visits. These are short hellos. And then that will then become the norm.
Yeah. I hope I can figure that out. Yeah, I know. Because I feel bad. Like, I feel like she just wants a friend for her kid. Okay, so I have to give my husband the same instructions because he'll just like cold turkey. Like he'll just won't say anything.
You either want to be a neighbor or you don't want to be a neighbor. Right? Kids are going to play.
Yeah.
Kids are going to play.
Okay, I can do that. I can figure something out and just let her know that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much.
All right,
welcome,
I
Katrina.
didn't want to be the mean neighbor, and I feel a little bit more at ease now.
I mean, you sort of are, but there's a way to not be.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys.
Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life.
What advice can you guys give me?
Okay, so my question is...
Got a problem you can't fix?
Roz and Mocha got you.
Owen, hello. It's Roz and Mocha. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, Mocha?
Doing good, buddy. You sound like you're in a great mood. Why are you on FML?
Well, I'm just wondering, how do I help my mom publish her book when I have no idea where to start?
Owen, you wrote, it says, "Hey, Roz and Mocha fixed my life. I'm sure you've had 1,000 people ask, but my mom and I have listened to you since I was 8, and you're now 22. I've listened to your book 3 times, even though I'm not a reader. My mom wrote a great book, but neither of us know how to start publishing. She's had a hard life and raised me and my sisters on her own, always giving us a great home despite having little money. Any help you could offer would be a dream come true." Did I not talk to you on Instagram?
You did.
I did.
You sent me a whole bunch of voice messages, actually. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's so nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
So you want me to do that all again here?
I mean, if it'd be all right, yeah.
I think, I don't know, would you give any other different advice, Roz? For anyone who doesn't know, Roz wrote spent secretly 2-3 years writing his memoir, A Little Bit Broken, available everywhere. So I know since that memoir came out, a lot of people had been coming to you.
Oh, I get a lot.
Asking how they get their projects published, right?
At least a couple times a week at the beginning, and then it calms down, and then it comes back. Okay, so what kind of book did your mom write?
So it's a fiction book. I mean, that's what I would call it. It's about, it's one of them, I don't want to sound mean, but I love my mom, but it's like one of them, girly books, you know what I mean? It's about a girl in high school, and there's 2 brothers who she grew up with. They're best friends, but both their families are in the mob. And
okay.
It's one of them kind of things. But it's that's what I mean. I don't know how to market that or get that out there. I was thinking about making TikToks or whatever we really have to do, right?
But is there an actual book?
Oh, yeah. The book's done. It needs to be. I would take your advice for sure when you.
Okay, pause for 1 sec. Let's not go back and talk about what we talked about on Instagram, because nobody knows what that conversation was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the first thing if you want a big publisher to publish your book, you have to have an agent. Okay. And there's a couple really, really good agents. There's not a lot of literary agents in this country, but there's a couple, and the ones who do it very well, and they have great contacts. So you're not going to get a book to a publisher without an agent if you want a big publisher. There is no money in books. Okay. And I'll tell that to you, and I'll tell that to your mom. So she cannot be writing this thinking that it's going to make her a lot of money and she's going to retire early. Okay. Yeah. It's just not going to happen. She can also self-publish if she doesn't want to get an agent. Self-publishing. I know a lot of people that self-publish books, and they do it because they love it. And do they sell a lot of books? Maybe a couple hundred, right? Maybe a couple hundred. A lot of those are family and friends. But it's good to get it out there, right? Like, it's just really, really good to get it out there. And then the other option is there's a sort of like co-pro thing that you can do where you put up a little bit of money, and then there's a couple companies out in the West Coast where they put up a little bit of money and they design you a great cover and they help you with the marketing and everything else, and then you split whatever profits you're going to make. But you have to understand that your ma isn't a name, right? And every now and then one of these books does take off through word of mouth, everything else. But that's like having a kid who gets signed to the NHL. Right? Yeah. It's very or a record company or winning the lottery
or the WWE.
Thank you. The WWE is a great example. You can't bank on that sort of thing. And if you're going to do a book, you have to want to just do the book for you, and because you have something to say. And even if you do get signed to a big publisher, this is why people like your mom don't get book deals out of the gate with big publishers, because big publishers don't have any money for marketing anymore. And the marketing is 100% up to the author. So if your ma isn't sitting on a verified account with 10,000 followers, she's not going to get a deal anywhere.
Gotcha.
Okay. And because she has to market the book. Like, if you're wondering how to sell the book, you got to do what every other author does, which is you got to market your own book. And you got to figure out how to do that. You got to figure out creative ways on how to sell your book.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I've been doing some brainstorming for sure, trying to figure it out, but I will tell you this, your mom could be a great writer. You still have to, she has to find an editor to go through her book. I talked to her about that also. It's like, it can be as good as she thinks, but you need like a real pro to fine comb it, right?
To make it a book. There's a difference between writing everything down and then turning it into a book.
Yeah, totally.
And you need somebody who's going to help her turn it into a book. And it's hard, but you're not going to, there's not a lot of money. I would say that when you walk into Indigo or any of those stores, the vast majority of books in those stores, have sold, maybe, in the hundreds, and the people who wrote them made less than $5,000.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think it's more just she wanted to do it. So, but no, it's great advice. I had no idea where to start. Right. So even everything you've told me already is just way more than I had. So
yeah.
So awesome. Maybe self-publishing is the way to go for now. Owen.
It's her first book. Just self-publish. You can get, and there's a lot of those like little programs that you can you just get an account on them. You build a cover, and you put your dedications, and then what happens is that in a month and a half you get a box delivered to your house, and you open it up, and it's your book. Yeah, and you wrote it, and it's awesome, and it feels great, and your mom will it'll be such a great sense of accomplishment for her. But don't do it because she thinks she's going to make money off it. Okay. Do it because she really, really wants to tell a story. That's my number one piece of advice for writing a book.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let her know for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Helpful, right. Owen?
Oh, super helpful. You guys are honestly the best. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing with this. So anything at all is super helpful for me.
Buddy, on, bro. We appreciate you and your ma and your years of dedication. Sending a ton of love to you guys, okay?
Awesome. Thank you guys so much, man. Love you guys.
Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life
on Kiss.
With the Redfin app, you'll know the moment your next place hits the market. Whether you're looking to buy your dream home or rent a sweet apartment, give Redfin your gotta-have-it wish list of property features, and you'll receive real-time notifications tailored just for you. Ready to see it up close and personal? Scheduling a tour is just a tap away. Don't wait to find your perfect match. Download the Redfin app and start searching today.
Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life.
What advice can you guys give me?
Okay, so my question is...
Got a problem you can't fix?
Roz and Mocha got you.
Braden is on FML. Got some serious stuff to talk about. What's up, homie?
My question is, how do I stop murdering my fresh herbs?
Oh, God. Wow, Braden Euro says, hey, Roz Mocha, fix my life. I keep buying fresh herbs with the best intentions, then watching them die in my fridge. How do I stop this toxic cycle? Do I learn to use things the right way, or should I give up and let the circle of life continue? What are you killing?
Everything from mint and basil and thyme. You know, you go into the grocery store and you buy the little packs for your one recipe, and you only need a little bit. And then the next couple of days, you're like, oh, I'm going to make something else. And then by the time you're doing, it's mushy, it's gross, it's awful. What do you do?
Yeah, I think you're just like not using all of it in the time span that you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Especially if it's fresh stuff, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have to find like other recipes that utilize those ingredients as well. Or I don't know, can you like use a little bit of it and then like maybe freeze?
Yeah, you can
freeze it, like put it in a Ziploc bag and like just freeze it. And when you know you're going to use it again, take it out.
Oh, that's smart. I don't think about that because I like looking at it in my fridge. I should. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I like the greenery.
I take. First of all, I never leave. If I buy, are you buying herbs like in those plastic containers, like those ones that flip open that never stay closed?
Yeah, the little clamshell.
Yeah. So for the first thing I always do is I get them out of that container. Right. And sometimes depending on what it is, sometimes I'll wrap it. Sometimes I won't. But everything goes in a separate container, like a Ziploc, tight Ziploc. And then I take all the air out of it. Right. That way it won't flip open in the fridge and it won't. I find that it lasts longer that way. But just use what you like. Buy what you're going to use. Like if you can find a place that has smaller, portions to it. But I get it. When you buy rosemary, right? Like you're not going to use all that rosemary in that thing. So so stick some in the freezer, see if it lasts. Try it out. Who knows? But also if you're constantly spending, because herbs are very expensive, I would suggest if you even have a window in your place, grow your own basil, grow your own chives, grow your own, all that stuff grows like crazy, dude. And it'll grow anywhere. Like you can definitely grow that stuff inside. But
I'm enlightened.
But also it's very easy to grow like a little tiny herb garden. I have an herb garden at the house and I have not tended to it in probably 2 years.
Really?
Right? Like it's just been neglected, right?
Does it grow or
and
no? It's just
I went to look at it the other day, and my chives are like 2 feet long, with flowers on the end of it. And those flowers on the end of it, you can actually. I felt like Meghan Markle. You can actually take those flowers off and use the tiny little petals as garnish, and they're oniony. They actually have this beautiful, they're beautiful purple flowers, and you can put them on stuff and they taste delicious, right? So you can grow that stuff anywhere. But other than that, if you're spending that kind of money on fresh herbs, just buy dry thyme. Don't buy fresh thyme. Right. First of all,
only buy it if you know that you're going to utilize recipes that utilize that thing, right?
Yeah. Like I buy fresh thyme and fresh sage and that kind of stuff. I buy fresh once a year, and that's over the holidays. But other than that, I am dried thyme, dried sage, dried. What else do I use? Chives, even I've dried chives. I love dried onion bits; those are real flavorful. And so if I buy fresh, it's cilantro and basil. Really, that's it. Parsley, cilantro, basil, and parsley. Everything else you can get away with dried. You're going to be okay.
But it is impressive when you have a gal over and it says, "Ooh, I'm using fresh thyme and fresh basil," but. I gotta figure that piece out.
You know what?
I get you.
You know what's more impressive is that when you walk over to your window garden and you pull it off yourself. That's even more impressive.
It sounds like your problem is that you need more girls over at your place.
Yeah,
it's true. I'll become a little window farmer.
Yeah. Is this all just to impress girls? Like, how many girls are you having over for dinner?
About 2 to 3 a week.
2 to 3 a week. Hold on,
respect the hustle, bro.
Well, we're talking about the wrong thing here. How are you pulling 2 to 3 girls a week?
I like going out everywhere, and I end up at events.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, can you cook?" And I'm like, 100%. Come on over. We hang out on my porch. I light a few candles, put on some great music.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes it's one-off, and it's just dinner.
Yeah.
Other times, I see them next week, and it's another meal.
Do you make the same meal for every girl that comes over?
No. I'll flip through a recipe book, which is probably silly because if I need a fresh ingredient, like I say, or if something's not in season, it does become a little more expensive. But I like going above and beyond, and I think that's what they see.
Have you found that there's one meal in particular that will get the girl to stay a little bit longer after dinner's over?
Yes, and it is a fresh seafood ceviche with that fresh cilantro on top.
Wow, good for you.
All right.
What kind of music are you playing?
I am playing. You know what's funny? I kind of ask them what their music is, and then I go onto Spotify and find an epic playlist. So it's kind of like a new show every single week.
You're a hustler.
Damn.
I have to hustle.
Yo, look at Shem.
People,
Shem has the biggest smile.
Yeah,
he's tapping his heart with his fist and giving you fist bumps through the phone right now.
Yeah,
you got
man.
Shem's respect right there, bro.
Yeah, you're a hustler. Well, there you go. Grow your own, dude. It's fun,
Thank
too.
you. Okay.
It's fun. It's really fun.
No, that sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Catch the guys live
Weekday mornings from 6 to 10
on Kiss 92.5.
KISS925.com.
Or download the Seeker app.